Good morning.
Good morning.
And welcome to week 10 of
Rolling
Round
Round
Europe
Europe
in
in
Rolly.
Rolly. Is that right?
Yeah, we're in Rolly. It's Rolly.
It's Rolly right there.
Yep.
So, for those of you who don't know us, we're Kevin and Claire. We're from New Zealand. We've travelled all the way to France, bought a motorhome, and we're travelling around Europe full time. Last week, if you were watching, you would have seen us, the sneak preview of us in Cuenca, where we found a lovely spot, park for night spot, at the top of a ravine, sort of on a ridge overlooking a canyon and Cuenca. Managed to bring out the drone for the first time and get some pretty cool drone footage of the area, so it was really cool.
It was beautiful.
Beautiful spot.
Very nice.
Very picturesque, really hard to beat really in terms of a place to stay for the night. Very cool. And the road getting up and down was pretty spectacular too. We got some footage of that with big overhanging boulders, pretty spectacular and very narrow. I'm glad we didn't have any cars coming the other way. We had a couple that just turned up at the right spot and there was an overtaking spot, but that was very, very lucky.
Yep.
When we drove down to Cuenca the next morning after staying up on the ridge there, we parked above the village and we saw a vintage car rally arrive, which was pretty cool. Some old cars, including a pretty cool Rolls Royce decked out in leather, which is a little bit strange, but pretty cool. The town itself was pretty cool, wasn't it, Cuenca?
It was, very cool.
Medieval, and we got to drive through it at the end of it. The route out, we had to go right through the middle of the medieval village, through some pretty narrow roads, but we saw that a bus could make it through, so we must be able to do it as well, so that was pretty cool. And where did we go after that, Claire?
We went to Campo de Criptana because as we were driving out, I was on my phone, and I saw that we weren't far from the Don Quixote trail. So I thought, right, I'm going to go and see the Windmills.
Yeah, we noticed on the highway markers that it was the Don Quixote trail. So there's got to be something here. Yeah. So we checked it out. Well done, Claire.
So the next day, that day we drove to the Windmills and we stayed that night at the Windmills, and it was a spectacular sunset. Absolutely spectacular.
With the windmills lit up at night and the beautiful red night.
It's beautiful.
It's pretty cool.
So the next day we did a little tour of the windmills. They still have them working, so we saw the inside of one and got to go up to the top of one and got explained how it worked. It was all in Spanish, but we had an English piece of paper that they gave us that explained everything in English. And then next day we went to a place called Corral Rubio, and it was a brand new free air with free electricity. So we went, right, we're going there.
And the reason we went there is because it said they had 2 lagoons that had flamingos.
And
me being obsessed with flamingos, I had to go.
Yes.
But we got there and there was a brand new air, wasn't it? And it was beautiful. No one there. We managed to wash down Rolly for the first time in 10 weeks, so that was really good to give her a bit of a clean. Then we went into town and there was literally tumbleweed blowing down the street. There was just nobody there.
No one there. There was a craft brewery place, but it wasn't open and there was nothing there. There was no one there. And it was a brand new sign and everything, so you knew it was operating and stuff.
Everyone must still be on holiday for some reason, so very, very quiet. The week after Easter, I suppose, the week before was very busy everywhere we went, so this week was definitely a change.
So then we went to see the lagoons, to see the flamingos, but the lagoons have all dried up.
All bone
no
dry.
Flamingos. So Spain is going through a huge drought at the moment, and there are no rivers. All the rivers are dry. They've even made some of the rivers into roads. They're like, gouging through.
Yeah,
it's very,
climate
very
change,
strange.
Drought, all the water being diverted into irrigation schemes. They've really got a bit of a problem. It's turning into a bit of a desert around here, which is a bit of a shame, really.
Yeah.
After that, we headed down to Cartagena.
Oh, you did.
I wasn't clear in my throat.
He hoiks.
Cartagena is the English pronunciation, but I believe it's supposed to be said Cartagena. But that was pretty cool. They have a Roman theatre there, which was only discovered in the 1990s and fully excavated in 1999. So it was previously covered in houses, which is pretty cool to find something like that. It was from the 1st century BC, pretty cool location, right next to the port of Cartagena, which is a large naval base as well, a very historic naval base.
Saw submarines and warships and things there, yeah.
Pretty cool little town.
Very cool. And then on to, we did a stop the next day. We stopped off at Mazarin on the way to see the sand sculptures. We had lunch there. It's a pretty, everybody goes there for the summer
Very
sort of
touristy, beachy place, but the sand sculptures were pretty cool, just the natural occurring erosion. Pretty cool nature at work, really. We had a nice little lunch there with a couple of mojitos for lunch. That was pretty good. Then we headed to where we are now, which is Mojacar, which we're staying in a little campsite at the bottom of the hill. Mojacar is a little whitewashed village, I guess you call it, on top of a hill. Very picturesque, little narrow streets, whitewashed houses with colourful plant pots and the likes. A little bit touristy, but not nice spot to go and visit. And
The hill was like this.
the walk up was, we were told, was a 20-minute walk, which it was, but it was probably close to 45-degree angle up. It was pretty good, but coming down we just rolled down. It was easier. Plan for this week is to head up into the mountains again. We've found a nice little vineyard that's free to stay at, and we can get some wine tasting in again. We're running low on wine, so it's time to stock up the wine. So, and then we're heading up further into the mountains. There's a area that's got a valley of whitewashed villages, so we'll head in there and check that out. So that's the plan for the next couple of days anyway. It'll probably change a bit as we get along. We don't tend to plan too far ahead. We like to sort of, if we find a place, we'll sort of go to that and check it out. If someone tells us about someone we should go, we just change our plans. Got plenty of time, no hurry, so we'll do that. Hope you enjoy the video this week. If you do like it, click the like button, and if you haven't already subscribed, do click on the subscribe button. Alright, thank you everyone.
And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye. quite vintage. Classic maybe, but not vintage. It's a Rolls Royce, but the fins are going the other way, aren't they? They go up and down. Peter would like that in the Rolls Royce. You agree? Oh look, it's done in
leather on the
leather.
outside.
What a stunner. This is Cuenca. We're standing on a bridge across the ravine. Other than the scaffold over the cathedral, she's looking beautiful. What do you reckon, Claire?
I reckon it looks really nice.
Amazing, the rocks all sort of gelled in. Is that all you got? Is that all you got?
That's
Come
all
on.
I got. I haven't really seen anything yet.
What do you mean?
Oh,
You haven't seen anything? What's that? This is the famous for Cuenca, the three hanging houses. See how they hang out from the cliff? Just been inside there, there's a abstract art museum. Here we are, another Roman theatre. Okay, Claire, where are we?
The Roman theatre in Cartagena.
Yep.
Which was only found in the late 19th century.
It was really 1990s they
And then in 1990s.
started uncovering it, started digging it out. So it was covered in houses and only part of it stuck out.
Demolish houses.
So it's only finished the excavation in 1999. It's a partial renovation you can see in the front there. To give you a view, you can see the columns of the back of the wall, stage wall, but most of the wall has disappeared. It was built in the late 1st century BC.
By our friend Augustus.
Augustus, in the Augustine period.
Our wee friend Augustus. Dedicated to his two adopted sons, Caesar and Caesar.
Caesar and someone else, we can't remember.
Caesar and Caesar. But you can see the buildings over the back there, the little portable buildings, so still excavating and putting together blocks and things.
And if we spin up around the back here, you can see how it's built into the rocks. You can see the rocks, and there's actually a cave through there. And if we pan around a bit further, this is the doorway that was sticking out still amongst all the houses that were built on top of it. So this is where they sort of realised there was something big here and started excavating. So it's pretty cool. I'll put a photo in of the 1990s and before and after renovation to give you a view. Just another view from the other side. We're up the top now, back across to the big arch gateway. Okay, we're just looking at what used to be behind the stage. There used to be a big square portico. You can see the big square portico right out there. Now if we come over here, you can see that facade of a building there, and just in front of it there's a low wall with a couple of base of pillars. That's where that portico would have started, so it would have, right underneath all those houses would have been a big portico extending out. Just a better view here of the two tiers of the back theatre wall. This wall here has been reconstructed just to give you a feel for what it would have looked like, and some of those columns be partially reconstructed to give you a feel, but there would have been a lot of columns all the way along on both tiers.
I'm loving this because everything is my size.
Apparently the Romans were short. Okay, just looking at this wall here, this is a later wall. I've used bits of the columns. You can see there's a capital off the top. You can see columns all the way along here that they've used in the later construction. So when they built the houses, look over the back there, there's fancy decorations of a capital from the top of a column over there. There's a couple of them actually, so they used it to build the subsequent houses, which is a bit criminal, isn't it? Arrived in Mojacar, which is a whitewashed village on top of a hill. That's the view out the countryside. We're just walking up the hill from the campsite, and look, we found a lift. Let's go into the lift and take the easy way up. You could have taken the steps up, but maybe not. That was much easier. Alright, let's go on down here and see what happens. Calais Air. This is a pretty narrow little street. Oh look, there's shoes. Follow the sign to the magic shoe store. Pretty. Shows how high we are here. And we can look all the way down to the Mediterranean, down that way. What do you reckon, Claire?
There's the player!
You can see the playa. Playa is Spanish for beach.
It's so dry. So dry. Look, you can tell that used to be a riverbed.
So
Going through
yeah, one
there.
of the things we found in Spain is due to a massive drought, climate change, overuse of water, all the rivers are dried up. You can see a dry riverbed, but all the way along this part of Spain, all the rivers are completely dry. We saw it actually in the town we stayed last night, that they've actually built a road over the old river now. This is clearly not expecting any water to flow in it anytime soon.
They've changed it from a river to a road.
Just wandering around the streets here. Got pretty little streets with the whitewashed buildings. Gelato time.
It's bigger than mine.
That's what I tell all the girls. So ice cream time.
Ice cream time.
Have to climb around the narrow streets. It's been quite a pretty little spot. But what did you get?
Milk. Meringue milk.
Meringue milk. And what does it taste like?
Vanilla.
Vanilla. Yeah. And I got pistachio. Looking forward to it. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.